Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. On Roadmap this week, the wooing of the electorate intensifies with the leading political parties, the APC and the PDP, strategizing even more to win your votes. One party calls it the Million Man March for change. The other calls its own a walk.
I promise that when we come back, we are going to set up a special fund that will handle these special areas. I identify about 5-6 areas that we must look at. I realize that sometimes when we have major tournaments, because of government, budgeting, files movement, training periods are delayed. And we want to make sure that we stop that.
Also, the PDP Governors Forum tells us that 16 years of his democratic rule is not a waste of time.
We are in Lagos to debunk the allegation that the 16 years of PDP is a waste.
They also say that Nigeria should look to the future, not the past.
This is why the choices before us in our nation, in the elections coming, are either engaging our reverse gear and going backwards, or putting our drive gear forward.
But not everyone agrees to this. My guest on Roadmap this week, the National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Lai Mohammed, and the Lagos State PDP Chairman, Tunji Shele. Both men have quite some interesting views on the quest for leadership come March 28, when the ballots are cast and the election results are announced. We'll also look at the legal implication of the claims by the Youth Democratic Party, who says the court has okayed INEC to include it in the 2015 general elections.
In accordance with INEC timetable, we wish to restate that we are ready. The Young Democratic Party, YDP, is ready for the 2015 general elections.
Let's start by first giving you some of the dominant stories making the news. It came with a lot of protests from the opposition party, the APC, members, of course, at the Senate. Now, he's one man that they will rather see not being appointed as a minister, but it happened right before their very own eyes on the floor of the Senate.
To many Nigerians, Wednesday's legislative proceedings in the Senate was highly anticipated. It is a day for the screening of one of the most contentious ministerial nominees in recent time, Senator Musiliu Obanikoro. His ministerial nomination has been fraught with controversy since it was presented to the federal lawmakers. Opposition lawmakers had vowed to block his confirmation because of his involvement in a leaked tape where he was implicated as a principal actor in an alleged rigging of the Ekiti governorship election in 2014. His screening had been postponed 3 times because opposition lawmakers were unwilling to shift ground despite negotiations behind closed doors to resolve the impasse. At the proceedings, it was obvious that it was going to be a battle of wits between the ruling party and the opposition over the confirmation of Senator Obanikoro. Just before the screening proper, a lawmaker moved a point of order with the aim of stopping the screening of the former senator.
You did say, and I think I heard very clearly, that you will call a meeting of the executive session before we go into this session, and I think we are deviating from that.
However, Senator Saraki was ruled out of order by the Senate President.
In my opinion, that is not a privilege, so if I didn't call for any executive session, I have not breached any order. Thank you. So I roll you out of order.
Another attempt was made.
Reference shall not be made to any matter on which a judicial decision is pending.
But no such luck.
Nobody has served me. I'm not running away, and usually once there is a court process, I have to be served. And I'm here. I cannot be served on the pages of newspapers.
The floodgates were thrown open and point of orders thrown left, right and center, all to prevent the Senate from screening Senator Obanikoro. But none could deter the Senate President from going ahead with the confirmation of the nominee. It was apparent that neither the PDP lawmakers nor the opposition lawmakers were prepared to yield ground, and tempers flared. Almost 1 hour went by and the back and forth continued. When it appeared that the opposition lawmakers had exhausted all their tactics, and it was also clear that the Senate President too did not intend to budge, the screening began. But unlike previous screenings, no important questions were asked the nominees. It appeared that the exercise was a mere formality to fulfill all righteousness. In a last-ditch attempt, the Senate Minority Whip tried to appeal again to the Senate President.
I said we passed him once, but before then and now, the issue of Ekiti Gate came up. The best the Senate can do in its wisdom is to defer this screening.
But no such luck. And when the question was put forward, the majority had their way.
Is it the wish of the Senate that Senator Obanikoro should be allowed to take a bow and go? Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Immediately, opposition lawmakers staged a walkout of the Red Chamber.
Now, the APC believes that this million-man march for change will further entrench its agenda to the electorate and win more votes for it. But not so for the ruling party, whose leadership embarked on a fitness walk by the president and his deputy in Abuja. But wait a minute, what are the issues the Nigerian people are facing? Declining level of education, electricity problems, more people chasing after less jobs, lack of potable water, bad roads, and the list goes on and on. And now it's a tug of war of sorts. The ruling party says it can provide these things, and what do you know? The opposition party says it cannot.